The younger boy, who is wiser, screamed loudly, "Dear Lord, I need a bicycle! Dear Lord, I need a bicycle!" So this older boy says, "What nonsense, why are you screaming? God can hear." He said, "I don't care whether God hears or not, I want grandma to hear."
I can ask you a very specific question, Sadhguru. I'm fascinated in the question of whether consciousness, because consciousness was the theme of this wonderful meeting. I'm interested in the question of whether consciousness is actually generated by the brain or whether consciousness is actually merely filtered through the brain. In other words, whether consciousness with a little c is just a manifestation of consciousness with a big C. And I'm interested to know where you stand on that, because you're obviously emphasizing the fact that our experience of the world is related to what happens in the body, but that doesn't prove that the consciousness is generated by the body. It merely says the consciousness is
Not at all.
housed in the body. So where do you stand on that?
Let me put this like this. We were talking about Kala. We're talking about time and space as Kala. We're talking about Mahakala, which is time but not cyclical in nature. Let's say that is consciousness. That is a stillness which is all-pervading and which is powerful. Today maybe they're calling it dark energy, whatever it is, I don't know how they see that. I don't know if there's any scientific way of sensing dark energy, I have no idea about that, so let me not comment. But calling it dark, we agree, because we call this also dark, because we're calling it Kala. Kala means also darkness, because space is dark. Light is just a small happening. When something burns, it emanates light. And you can't see light, you can only see its reflection. See, right now, there is light passing here, you can't see it. Only if my hand stops it, then you can see it, otherwise you can't see it. So we are not… in exploration, we are not concerned about light. That's why first thing we do is close our eyes. Because light is a huge deception. Light is giving you a wrong perspective of everything. So the moment you depend on light, you become physical, you become only physical with the opaque stuff. I'm saying you can see the hand, you can't even see the air that you breathe, because you can't see anything vital here if you depend on light. So first thing is to close our eyes, because the senses are deceiving you. When we said Maya, we did not say… because today philosophers are going about saying nothing exists, it is only there because you are looking at it. Recently some young boy asked me a question, I think that video is out somewhere today. This boy is asking, "Sadhguru, is universe there before me or is it just my projection?" I said, "You're a young man. Before you came, I was here and the universe was there." All right, don't imagine such things, you came and projected the universe for me, all right? I'm saying this is simplistic understanding of whatever profound sciences somebody has experienced. It's all because of those three scientists got the Nobel Prize. Everybody thinks that now they know universe does not exist. If universe does not exist, what the hell are you doing here? It is just that it doesn't exist the way you see it. This is Maya. Maya means illusion. Illusion means that not necessarily that it does not exist, it is not the way you think it is. It's not the way you are perceiving it for the sake of your survival. It is a completely different phenomena. But you see it this way because this is how you can survive, otherwise you cannot survive. Having said that, so let us assume this non-cyclical time, which is the basis of space, is consciousness. Well, when we were children, all of us would have blown a soap bubble. Were you doing or you were looking through the telescope, sir?
It depends on the age, but I mean, I was blowing soap bubbles up till…
Yeah, soap bubbles.
15.
Suppose you blew you blew this big bubble, I blew that big bubble. Now I say, see, that's my bubble, the big bubble is my bubble, this is your bubble, this is my bubble. It went poop. Then I don't say this is my air, this is your air. It's the same air, both of us captured. You captured this much, I captured that much. So right now the whole yogic system is focused on how much can you capture. If you capture more of that you're calling as consciousness, which is a memoryless, intentless intelligence, with which if you give it a little memory, it finds expression as many, many forms. So you and me are one type of forms that which found expression because we gathered memory. This memory we call as karma. As long as your karma is there, you can blow a bubble because you got soap. Even though there is air, you can't blow a bubble. You need soap. So soap is this karmic information. Without information, you can't blow the bubble. Now if your soap is very thick, you can't blow a big bubble. It'll be small but heavy, it doesn't fly, it just goes down and bursts on the… you've seen both. You blow a lot of soap, it just gets heavy, goes and lands there. You blow it really nicely, light and slowly, it becomes this big. Now it floats away because its wall is so thin. So if you become like this sister… what is this, Teresa? Saint Teresa, I'm so sorry.
Saint Teresa.
Saint Teresa blew a bubble which is floating away. Others see and think, oh, she descended from the heaven. No, she's floating because she's blown a big bubble of herself. Now, the bigger the bubble, the easier to burst it. And that is called nirvana, mukti, moksha, because at some point we want to burst it. Why would I want to burst my own life bubble? That is because you read the memory that is written in this and you saw it through and through. Because you just have amnesia of… even you don't even remember how you were in your mother's womb, do you? No, you don't remember. You only remember a few things here and there and you pick up a few pleasant things and say, my life is fantastic. If you actually look at it, whole of your life is generally grind. Like he said, he has to go shopping, he has to cook, he has to wash. It's a grind, all right? Here and there, moments of joy, excitement, this and that happened. You're just trying to remember that and paint a beautiful picture of your life, it's wonderful. Psychologically, it's a good thing to do. But it's not a way to explore the reality of one's existence. See, you wanting to live a good life is one thing, you want to know the basis of the life itself is another thing. This aspiration may not be there in everybody and it's perfectly fine. Somebody just wants to live a good life, all they want is pleasant chemistry. We can teach them a simple way to make your chemistry pleasant. Most people would be satisfied with that, because generally that's all. They go to temples, mosques, churches, wherever. What is their prayer? What is the prayer on the planet? Dear God, give me this, give me that, save me, protect me, make me healthy. Give me a little more than my neighbor. Yes, what else? This is all the prayer on the planet is. So otherwise, no, not like that, I go there to thank. Thank what? For what you got last time, so that he doesn't forget you next Christmas. This happened. Let me tell you a little joke, so it's getting serious. Two boys, brothers, went to grandmother's place for Christmas. So they're required to pray before they go to bed. The elder boy sat down, kneeled down rather, and started praying. He wanted a puppy for the Christmas. So he's praying, dear Lord, let me have a puppy and what breed and everything. The younger boy, who is wiser, screamed loudly, dear Lord, I need a bicycle, dear Lord, I need a bicycle. So this older boy says, what nonsense, why are you screaming? God can hear. He said, I don't care whether God hears or not, I want grandma to hear.
Can I ask you another question, which doesn't follow up from
So if it is not asking too much, if I give you a very simple, generally in science you call it a theory,
yeah.
I call it my experience. If I give you a simple line, can you build mathematics for it? Because that could be the telescope.
Right. Well, my question was going to be this. We started off talking about the cycles of the universe, and there was something which intrigued me. In one of your films, or one of the interviews, I've heard you talking about the fact that there were a certain number of cycles.
84.
84, exactly. And so I was intrigued about this, not 42, which is the answer to everything in Western, but 84, which of course
is 42?
Which is twice, 84 is twice 42.
Okay.
So, but I'm fascinated, where does the figure 84 come from and why 84?
Well, you already heard that video, so I will leave that part.
No, but they didn't, and
See, there is a continuous talk about Big Bang.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of the scientists who's written a book on endless universe. Yes, endless universe, that's the title of the book.
Paul Steinhardt.
Yes.
I think, yeah.
So I met him in Davos and he was setting up a computer simulation of how it could have been. When I looked at that computer simulation, this is a form every day we work with. We call this linga. The word linga comes from the word lina. Lina means the form. We call it the form.
The
Form.
foam.
What do you say? Form.
Form, sorry. Form. Oh, form. Thank you. It's my English accent.
Okay. The form.
Oh, now I understand.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, we call it the.
Yep.
Why it's called the form is because it was the first form. So when he breathed out and when energy played upon his body and little particles of creation started forming cycles and making Mahakala, a great time, into a simple time process of atomic time, then he roared. When he roared, it rose like that. That form I'm seeing on his computer. This is a form we always people worship and work with in so many ways. I see this guy had it on his computer. I said, how did you get this? He said he's been working on simulating the Big Bang. Then I asked him a simple question. Is it possible there could have been many bangs? He did like that and then he said, possible. Then I said, if there are many bangs, see if you have an automobile, if you take off the manifold, you will see the engine will go bang, 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 bang. If you throttle up, it'll roar. So I said, if there were a series of bangs, could it have been a roar? He said, why not? Possibly. I said, we've always been saying it's a roar, so we called the first form as the Rudra. Rudra means the one who roars. He roared. Like this, then we evolved many forms to describe this. This was Mahakala, this was Kala, this was Rudra, this is the first form, and then the many forms, how they came, there are various aspects to it. These things are not today. These things have been spoken millennia ago. How do they know all this? The simple thing is like this, if you look into this piece of creation, the whole creation is present in a footprint form. By looking at my footprint, suppose I walk through the garden, by looking at my footprint, you can measure my weight, my height, my gait, you can even guess how smart am I. Depending on how I navigate through spaces, you can see how smart you are. In this country, everybody is, eulogizing this all the time. The Native Americans could read the footprint and they could read the tracks, how many people, what is happening, this, that, lot of detail into it, because the footprint leaves a whole lot of things. So in many ways, various aspects of this creation, you will never be able to see this through physical approach or even mental approach, because mind we see it as a physical projection. Mind is a little subtler projection of the body. So these things cannot be seen, but the footprint can be seen. With the footprint you can know most of the things. Only thing you cannot know is, what is my nature, you cannot know. But you can figure out, if I walk through, let's say, a difficult terrain, you can easily figure out how smart I am. You can figure out what is my thinking. People do this. Looking at the animal footprints, I do this myself. Looking at the footprint, I know where it is going. Is it hungry? Is it not hungry? Is it hunting? Is it just walking around? I've survived in the jungles because I see these things very clearly. So, looking at the footprint of creation, if you have lot of these numbers, which I don't have no numbers in my head, only number I have is this one. Or sometimes it becomes like this. I don't have any other numbers. Because of that, I don't bother about that, but if you have all these numbers, if I show you the footprint, can you build a mathematical ladder to that? If you build that, we can say scientists are seeing something that their eyes or their telescopes cannot see.
Yes. But can I ask a follow-up question? Because one of the reasons cosmologists like myself like to invoke cyclic universes is because of the apparently miraculous fine-tunings of the physical constants which are required for life to arise. This is what's called the anthropic principle, that there are unexplained coincidences between the constants of physics which are required for observers to arise in the universe. And one of the explanations of this is that you have many cycles of the universe, expansion and recollapse, and every time you have a bounce, you change the constants. And so the idea is that many of these cycles are just empty, no mind, no consciousness. But every now and then the constants have the right values for consciousness to arise. And so one reason you invoke cycles of the universe is that means occasionally you are going to be in a universe, well, you have to be in one of the cycles which is suitable for life. So this is one example of the multiverse. Does that tie in at all with the reason for having 84?
See, this 84, how we are talking about it is, there are yogis who have done a whole lot of mathematics to it. I'm not one of them. I'm good by knowing it by my experience. I don't wish to write it on the blackboard. I don't have the competence, let me say that. Competence comes only when you care for something, otherwise you don't acquire those competences. So these 84, out of these 84, many have dissolved. Their bare, vague footprint is there, but they have dissolved. But the footprint is there in this. 21 of them have a little larger footprint.
Oh.
Out of these 21, 10 are almost non-physical. Non-physical, let's say. The remaining 11 are somewhat mildly physical, but the last 4 are reasonably physical. So, we see this number 21 as an important process. Whatever we want to do, we do it in 21 minutes, in 21 ways and all this, because these 21 still have a footprint. If you want to rise beyond your physicality, absolutely, you have to rise beyond all the 21. But you don't have to bother about those things, because if you rise above the physical nature, not just in terms of physical body, but even the information is physical. All information that you carry, which makes you you, whether dead or alive, it still makes you you, that one, we want to rise beyond that. So that imprint carries all this, and out of the 84, 21 are still manifest in different levels of, for lack of words, I'm saying transience, from almost others below 21, they're completely gone. But their footprint is still there, they don't have any influence or impact, their qualities are not imprinted in us. But these 21 qualities are there in us. How many more will happen? 112 will happen.
112?
112. Each one of them may take whatever they've calculated these yojanas up to how long it'll take, that's not my number game, is not my game. So, 112 times it'll happen. After that, it will manifest in a way that it's non-physical and becomes a perpetual universe. A non-physical universe will manifest itself, that it doesn't need physical matter but exists, and even individual existence may happen, we don't know. It may happen, or one massive happening may happen, but a proper manifestation of universe without physicality. When that happens, that is the final one. This is seen as a thing, but I know science will not ever go with that, so let us leave those things. All I am saying is, this simple thing that I am talking about, if I give you the footprints as to how this is evolved, if you can create a mathematical backbone to it, I think it'll make sense to lots of people and you will be seeing further, not with physical eyes, but mathematically you will be seeing much further than where you are seeing right now.
That's fascinating, because that is not one of the standard modern cosmological theories, you see. So, but what you're saying is that you've got these cycles which at some stage evolve beyond the straightforward physical…
See, the beautiful thing is, they're clearly defining this. Because the Indian cosmology is built and personified in a certain way. Most people, Indian origin people will know this. There is a coiled up snake upon which a god is lying down.
Yeah.
That snake is called Shesha. Shesha means, when we are learning mathematics in Indian languages, the remainder, what do you call it? Remainder. Remainder is called Shesha. What is remaining is Shesha. Even in our common language, we use that. Shesha means something left over. So, this snake is the Shesha upon which once again creation begins. So this Shesha leftover, the leftovers are there from last 21 universes. But the imprint of the leftover is diminishing as you go backwards and increasing as you come forwards. But the last four are significant.
And so was consciousness in only some of these universes?
No, all of them were conscious, fully manifest universes.
All of them were
But they ran out of time. That what was Kala became Mahakala, but it left footprints. In some footprints they're very strong, we can see exact nature of what they are. Some footprints are very weak, that we can barely see that they are there.
And is this evolution towards, after 112 cycles, a non-physical state, does that correspond to a sort of evolution of consciousness?
In a way, it is like consciousness graduating, that without physical form it can manifest itself.
That's a very positive note on maybe which to… I know we've come to the end of our 2 hours, but that's a that's a really interesting thought, but especially that you made it mathematical, like…
Thank you, sir. You came all the way. Thank you very much, sir. Fantastic.